All right, looks like we're live. It is Friday, August 21st. Doing a little lunchtime live coding, so we'll see how it goes. This week I'm going to be taking a look at Cloudflare Workers. Now, I'm really not terribly familiar with them. I know that they're a serverless framework, somewhat akin to Lambda, but different. You can use them when you have sites on Cloudflare, but I think you can use them separately as well. Um, and I've never used them before, so I'm starting from literal zero, and we'll see if I can, get some stuff installed and running, and maybe work through some tutorials. So here goes nothing. I'm on the Cloudflare docs site, developers.cloudflare.com, workers, learning, getting started, which is what I'm doing. Um, Serverless application platform. Um, so there is a playground, but I think I want to just get this working. So I do have a Cloudflare account set up to do this, so that I can start publishing them on my own domain. Um, so I need the workers CLI, which is called Wrangler. So we'll install this, and that's going to take a sec. All right. So literally starting from zero here. But we've got that installing. Actually, that was it's the quickest npm installation that I've ever had. We'll confirm our version here, which shouldn't be Dia Work Wrangler 1.10.3, 1.10.3, and we are all good. All right, generate a new project. Wrangler's generate subcommand will create a new project from its starter template, which is what we want. With no template argument, Wrangler generates projects from the default starter. Let's generate a new project called My Worker. Sounds like a plan. All right. And I'm sure they'll walk us through this. You'll need to update the following fields in the Wrangler TOML file before continuing: account ID, zone ID. All right, sounds good. We can do that. I'm using a demo account here. So actually, let's just, before we do this, let's hop into, I think I have code open. I had code open. Let's see what we got here. My worker, and this is what was installed. So we have our git ignore, lovely, prettier, code of conduct, index.js. So we add an event listener up there. And then we have a handle request function. Um, Glad to see you watching there, Christian. So I'm starting from zero here. So if I make mistakes, maybe you can help, or hopefully this is useful to you too. We have our handle request method, our package JSON, and the Wrangler TOML file, which is a name, our type, and our account ID, route, and zone. Okay, sounds good. Back to our docs here. All right, so this is what we just walked through. My worker, got the contents, and we have our Wrangler TOML file. And yes, we just looked at what that looks like. So what we'll do after this, it says visit the starters page to see a complete list of our recommended templates, which sounds good. So there's a TypeScript template, which is nice. And then we can do one with our own code. But we want to get something up and running here because we've done nothing before. So with your new project generated, you're ready to write your own code, understanding hello world. All right, so at its heart, hello world. Let's just look at this side by side with the code that was generated. Move you over. KB, and we'll move you over. Let's drag. We'll open up our index.js. All right, we're going on top. Okay. Understanding hello world. At its heart, a workers app consists of two parts. The event listener, got that. and an event handler that returns a response object, which is passed to the respond with method. So our listener, our handle request, and the response that comes back. That makes sense. When a request is received on one of Cloudflare's edge servers, it passes the request to the worker's runtime, which emits a fetch event. Sounds good. All right. I'm not going to read all of the docs to you because that would be boring. I'll probably come back when I've realized that I missed something. The fetch event handler typically culminates in a call to a method respond with. Okay, that's up there. Routing and filtering requests. Now that we have a very basic script running on our request, the next thing you'll come to do is want to be able to generate a dynamic response. Yes, of course we can do this, but how do we actually use it? Okay. Oh, very cool. Let's see. Oh, I'm jumping pretty far down here. I'm going to jump down here and just run this. Command T. Got our terminal. Let's just run Wrangler preview watch to see what we have with that base template command installed. Wrangler toml, not, oh, because I'm not in the right directory. All right, so Wrangler preview watch in the generated file. Now we don't have our account ID or zone ID there. JavaScript project found, skipping a necessary build. You haven't provided your Cloudflare credentials. Okay, so I'll need to do that. Please run Wrangler config. So running without authentication. Your worker responded with hello worker, so it's watching /. So I guess this is interesting. Let's see what happens when we, so preview, testing. Also, Wrangler is serving this probably via the sandbox. I don't know if you can see this here. I'm on cloudflareworkers.com and it's running a Wrangler session. So I don't have any other routes. I think I saw that they were in the toml file. Okay, v8 inspector. All right, so I'm doing this in Safari right now, but I'll probably have to jump over to Chrome or Firefox in order to get some better inspection of what's going on here. Let's just see how this watch command works. Like if we switch this to hello worker, where we are up and running. Save that. Watch detecting changes. Your worker responded with hello worker, we are up and running. Do I need to actually run this here? Refresh, example.com. Interesting. So I can see the worker response here in my terminal, but this demo site that I have is not showing that. There's inspector here. Right. We are going to. It's interesting. Well, you know what? Let's follow the actual instructions here, since that's generally a better way to do things than just entirely shooting from the hip. So we're going to kill this, and I don't know if we can see this on the screen. I'll pull this up a little bit more. And we will run Wrangler config. I can't type today. Wrangler config. Right, Wrangler config to find your API token. All right, so as I said, I'm doing this with a demo one. And if I did that, I would kill my token after the fact. Let's open up the edit the Cloudflare Workers. Okay, I do not want to use my global token. Let's put in the credentials for this account in the Wrangler toml file, since that was the first instruction. So account ID, like I said, demo account here, not my real account. And my zone ID, where is my Where's my zone ID? Let's take a look here. Is that the zone ID? This is my unfamiliarity with just the name of the zone. Workers, home, workers. All right, so this is my ignorance. Cloudflare zone ID. About zone ID. This is someone's question. Long string of letters and numbers. API.Cloudflare zone ID. Automated things. API.Cloudflare.com. That's not helpful. All right, so what is a DNS zone? Also not going to be helpful here. A little too much going on here. All right, what's my cloud? Where to find the zone ID? Sounds good. To note, Cloudflare. Well, I expected a slightly more helpful answer there. All right, so I'm in here. Your subdomain. There's my subdomain. I'm wondering if that's what I'm looking for. You know what we'll do? That's the account ID. Where do I find? You know what? We've been DuckDuckGoing. Let's just do our Google. How to find Cloudflare zone ID. A lot of questions and answers here. Dash.cloudflare.com, sign in, click on the website you want. So I want to do this under workers, not necessarily under a plans, key value, workers. Not necessarily under the domain that I have set up. So that's kind of confusing. I mean, I could go to the site and then DNS. I don't have anything set up here. It's new. All right, so what did this say? Dash.Cloudflare, click on the website. The homepage should show the zone ID under the API portion at the bottom. All right, here's the website overview. And all right, so there's a zone ID for the site. I don't know if this is showing for you. It doesn't have to because it's private. Let's do this. Cloudflare Workers zone ID. All right, making requests. Wait. Not found. Not helpful. If it helps, you don't need a zone ID in the Wrangler TOML unless you want to deploy to a domain. So I was hoping, all right, well, that does help. I will skip that. I was hoping to deploy to it does make sense that that's when you would need it. I was hoping to deploy just to the workers subdomain. So I won't put in that, we got the account ID. Let's just kill this. We're not going to do the config yet. We're going to do the preview watch one more time. Move this over so we can see it. Now we're seeing the same thing. All right. So what if all right, workers. Let's hop back. Did I lose my getting started doc? I did not. All right. Routing and filtering. Let's break it down. Index, fetch, understanding the hello world. So we did this. It's working. We can use standard JavaScript. Very common to filter requests based on the method. That's helpful. Use a template for routing on the URL for more complex routing. So I think I'd take a look at this if I were trying to route on one of my websites. We'll take a look at those APIs. So we're previewing it. Watch tells Wrangler to watch your workers directory for changes and automatically update the preview tab with the latest URL. Note about building. Running Wrangler preview and Wrangler publish both run Wrangler build before automatically. Okay. Okay, so we'll just grab we'll grab an API token here. We've got the account ID. Oh, you know what? See, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Christian. If I read the docs further, it doesn't happen during a live stream, I would have gotten to this. Since I'm deploying to the subdomain, which is what I wanted to, not one of the sites, that's all I need to do. It was only if I was trying to do it on one of my websites that I would need the zone ID. So I have an account ID, and I'm going to need an API token. So I'm going to make one here. And you know what? Well, you guys are going to end up seeing it probably, but I'm going to try to do this off the screen so you won't see it. First, I have to make it in the Cloudflare account. All right. So where are my... Let's hop in here, account home. A profile, API tokens, create a token, and this token needs edit Cloudflare Workers. Sounds good. Sure, edit Cloudflare Workers, continue the summary. Oh, choose a zone resource, include all zones. Continue the summary. Oh, account resources include, well, I only have one account here. So continue the summary. All right, I have made an API token. I'm gonna copy that. All right, now, I mean, I'm probably gonna end up showing this during the stream and I'll just delete it after the fact, but I'll just pretend that I'm not. Oh, I'm gonna need to show it. All right, that's fine. So let's put this over here. So I might as well move the whole thing over then. There's the API token that's going to get deleted at the end of this for the demo account. Oh, well, you don't see it, but I've copied it. Let's hop back to the getting started docs. All right. We've got our API token, obtaining the account ID, we did that, registered domains, API token, create one, edit Cloudflare Workers, continue to summary, got the token. All right, so now I have to do Wrangler config. All right, we'll pull this up here so we can see it a little better. I think we're zoomed in enough here. No, we're gonna stop that, clear. Right, Wrangler config. And we will use the API token that we generated. It's configured. So now is that added? Oh no, that's in a, find your configuration. Ah, so that's saved somewhere, got it. All right. Let's hop back to our getting started docs here. So we've configured our credentials. Nice, could use environment variables. That's probably would have been the better approach in this case, which I'd do if I was setting this up separately. So configuring our project, we have a name, we have an account and ID. Now, right now, so they say set the type to Webpack. So right now I'm not using that. Right, I think the default template scaffolded it with JavaScript, so we might switch that back before we try to deploy this. We're not doing it for a domain. Oh, workers dev. With the workers dev key and the toml, it'll get published to my dev subdomain. So that's what we need. And you know what? Rather than ignoring the docs, Was workers dev? Oh, workers dev was already there. That's helpful. Blah blah blah. Okay. So we're not configuring it to a registered domain, so that doesn't matter. And then publish. Wrangler publish. So this is going to push it to my workers.dev subdomain. Oops, don't need to be there. Well, I didn't switch it to Webpack, but allegedly I should be able to see my demo worker here, which would be cool. All right, nice. Just zoom in, you can see that that project is up and running. So that's actually pretty fast. Let's see. Let's just take a look here. We'll hop back to our index, and then we'll mess around with this a little bit more. Let's just say application JSON. We'll do, we'll return this as JSON, see how that goes. Hi. See if this breaks or not. So now I'm assuming I just run Wrangler publish again. That's pushed out there. And if I go back here, let's check our, I don't know if this is just Safari being weird. Spec element. So I'm getting a full HTML response here. Interesting. Not the best. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna close Safari there. We'll make a new Firefox window. Pull it over. Oh, nice. Firefox is a little more helpful in this regard. Move over there. We have some invalid JSON. What did I do wrong here? Hi, hello, we're up and running, and they said JSON parse expected property at line 1, column 2 of the JSON data. Oh, I probably needed to wrap. It's probably a better way for me to return that response as JSON. So I'll dive into the, with my, can you hear me now? Is the mic still working? Let's just see what's going on here. Mic's still no go on the mic? Because it's, that's kind of frustrating if the mic's not working. Let's just check our sound here. Looks like I'm hooked up. And OBS is showing that it's picking up. Huh, that's weird. Let me just see if, all right, well, I hope my mic is still working. On OBS it's showing that it is, and on the little separate stream that I have here, so not sure what the mic issue is, but I'm gonna try just to push along since I only have so much time to stream. Yeah. And I'll probably go back and watch this video and be frustrated that it's not recording. Or I'll sound like an idiot because it is. Okay, so we've got a request. We're trying to get application JSON back, which I thought would have been a simpler thing, but let's just go back to our docs here. So we've deployed that. It's a pretty fast deployment. That's good. I want to take all right. To deploy our production environment, we can pass the env flag. In pushing workers, you may initially see a 523. All right, I want to jump back and look more at that preview for local development. So that was much higher in the documentation here. Wrangler preview watch. And I want to, because I didn't quite understand how, you know what, it might be better. I'm going to move it over to, I'm going to run the command and then I'm going to get it up and running in Chrome since that's, that seemed like that's where it wanted to be. So let's see if we can do this. All right, we'll move this over. We'll zoom in. We don't have an error here. And we'll see. Let's go in one more. No worries, Christian. Although I'm glad it was you and not my mic, because I had a mini panic attack there. All right, so we're up and running. Our mic is working. That was a false alarm. All right, so I want to see. So we're watching here. We know that this is not working. We know that. All right, so let's just return an empty struct here and just see if, so detecting changes, updated changes, your worker responded with an array, and in here, all right, so the issue with it not refreshing, which was confusing to me, was because I was using Firefox and not Firefox, Safari and not Chrome. Messages said that in the console. I just didn't read them closely. But for that refresh flow with the Wrangler watch command, you have to be using Chrome, which is an easy enough fix. I've run into harder problems than that. So we have our console here for the worker, our sources, network. Let's pull this up so we can see what's going on here. Let's refresh that. So I see the response, but I want to know, I'm not seeing, testing. Okay, there we go. With that testing, with this testing tab, I can see what came back, but I can't see if, don't feel bad, Christian. Don't feel bad at all. Let's see, we have application JSON content length 2. So you know what? I mean, was my JSON just off? Let's just grab some. Oh, you know, this is a fun chance for this. Generate JSON. I feel like there's some services out here that generate random JSON. Okay, generate it. Whoa, a lot of JSON here. All right. A lot of random stuff, kind of fun. So we're gonna dump, well, are we gonna dump all this in here? Are we? No, we're not, because that broke it. Probably because of quoting, so that was way too much JSON to generate. Let's just grab something small here. No, this is a random rabbit hole that I'm going down here, and it's a silly way to spend my time. Okay. Do we need to, you know what? That's probably what it was. Silly Matt. All right, let's jump back. Let's put that back. I just didn't, I think I'm used to my tools generating those quotes for me. So that's going to come back. Close that. We've got our JSON coming back with a 200. Now let's publish this and just make sure that we're actually getting JSON back when we run it live. So we'll kill that. We'll run Wrangler publish, get our 2-second publish process, and it's back up. And I'm going to hop over to where? Not to here. It doesn't work, doesn't matter. We'll reopen that link then. I'll configure that to be trusted sometime. And we're good. Let's move it over to Firefox, because that's where I was seeing the error. And now we're good. So we have actual JSON coming back. I just didn't format it correctly because I'm an idiot. Okay, so I mean, using the workers dev subdomain with these, like once you get this started, it's definitely a really nice flow. If you want to create some serverless actions, you can post data to it. You can set up. I got to figure out how to set up different endpoints on my workers.dev subdomain. But it's nice. I mean, I can run whatever code I want in here. Now I wonder if I'm developing this. So let's watch it again. Let's watch preview. And I think there was some, okay, so yeah, you don't need to be here. Since that's useless, we'll hop back to Chrome. We'll stick this one in, up and running. Now, if I run console.log request, am I going to see that in my terminal down here? Um, Not in my terminal here. Interesting. I wonder where the logging goes. Um, Add event listen fetch, handle request, event.request. So I might be able to do it up there too. Or I wonder if I see it in here. Oh, there we go. So within, super nice. Very cool. Um, the console login isn't showing there within the console. It's showing within the preview pane that is, let's just do the console, that's generated. So I console logged request. I have all the info here. So obviously there's nothing, I mean, nothing was really passed in most cases. But as the docs were saying, you can base logic on whether you've got a get request or a post request, and other elements. So let's hop back. It's always reading docs closer. But I like that I have it up and running, and now I can kind of refine it. Um, all right, so we did all that. Oh no, the logic stuff I think was even higher up. Okay, so if request method equals post, await generate, have some generate function. Otherwise, expect post. So that's kind of clever. Um, it's very common to filter requests based on request method, request at URL. So let's look at request at URL in this demo here. Request.url is example.com, since that's, I wondered, will this run if I just did like um, demo and hit go, minimize that, request URL demo. So gotta say, props here. This testing tool, um, I mean, I'm still getting used to it, but you definitely have a lot of control, um, and some flexibility here to pass in different things. So I imagine, I don't know where I would see this. I don't know if it would even run on it, but let's just say imaginary, and we'll run that. So that ran. URL is still demo. I wonder if I can see. Can I see the full path there, or technically, oops, it's not demo. URL does show me the full thing where it ran, so I can base the logic on that URL that comes in. Got some more info from Cloudflare. Okay, very cool for testing, so I could try different things, post it up, and use that. So let me see. I guess I want to see if I can, how I place this, on a route. Um, Use a template for routing on the URL. For more complex routing, it can be helpful to use a library. The Workers Router Starter template provides an API similar to ExpressJS for handling requests based on. Okay, so oh, I guess I can make any worker. All right, so let's do this. We will do this. We'll stop that project. We'll generate a new project, and then we'll see how that goes. Let's hop in here. We're gonna kill that watch. We have that basic project up and running. Now I'm gonna hop back to iTerm. I'm in workers again. and I'm going to generate my worker with router based on that provided Cloudflare template. It's made. Obviously, I'll need to fill things in again, but I can hop back over to code, my worker. Well, I can grab my account ID from the Wrangler TOML file, get rid of that. My worker with router, Wrangler, my account ID is in. I wonder if the package JSON is different. All right, scripts, author, dev dependencies. Okay, so I guess that's what we're working with now. Our index. Oh, nice. So this is, ooh, very cool. This is a very cool template. All right, so our Wrangler TOML has our account ID. We will run, we have to get over to that directory. My worker with router, clear. And we will run Wrangler config. I don't have autocomplete on that, shocker. And I need the API token, which I can get from, well, I didn't put it over there. I'm going to grab it from, I think where I saw where that was stored in my home directory under .wrangler. Let's just see here. Version config bin. I think that's where that would have stored it in the default TOML file there. I'm going to open this with, it's being silly for me. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Let's just do this. All right, got the API token. Nice. Right. Although I wonder if I need to run the config. Well, this is a separate project, so I probably do. All right, so that's stuck in the same place. I actually don't think that I needed to run that a second time. So we've got this here. We're going to run Wrangler preview watch. I'm just going to pull it up in Safari, which won't be useful. But then we'll move it over to Chrome, and then we'll take a look at that index.js file and see how we can route based on different endpoints. So we have a longer installation process for this build, which makes sense because it's obviously a slightly more complex project than that getting started package. So this is no helpful, not helpful. We'll jump back to Chrome. We'll throw this new one in here. And we have example.com. Now, why did that? Because I had this up so high, I'm like, it's, there we go. All right. So I think I saw there were some routes defined in that index.js file. So we're requiring router. Same as we had before, we have this event listener. And then we have a separate handler function, which we will close. And we have our handler request. All right, so this is where most things are happening. And here we're defining our router. So we have, if it's a get to /bar, so we jump up here, we can say if it's a get to /bar, go, responding for bar. Oh, very cool. If it's a get to /foo, it passes it up to handler. All right. Demos router foo, request fetch request, return the response from the origin. Demos router. So I have to see what's going on with that one. I think I'm going to jump to the docs for this project. And if it's a get to /, okay, so let's look at handler. Handler stringifies some JSON. some JSON, literally stringifies some JSON. So that's the slash foo. If we hop up to here, um, some JSON, very cool. All right, so you know what? I've been going for 40 minutes, so actually I have to, get back to real work. But I do want to just take a look at the docs for this project real quick, just to see if they talk about it at all, or if it's just a. All right. Select the logic to respond based. Yeah. So this is very. I mean, that's like you can basically set up a REST API with that. That's very helpful. Very cool. Um, so there's a live demo at workerstooling.cf. Um, okay, so they don't talk through that. So what does? All right, the last thing. The last thing I'm going to check. Requests to slash demos slash router slash foo is, what is this? I'm a little slow here. What is this doing? Let's just take a look at the code here for a sec. Return a response from the origin. So what did it actually return there? Some JSON. Because we have foo at the end here. The request info. I'm not exactly sure what they're trying to show. It seems a little circular to me, but I think I'm a little slow here. Um, I'll end on a note with me being slow, um, and end with seeing that I need to explore this a little more. But I mean, in summary, it's a pretty smooth. Um, where's my? In summary, I mean, the docs here are straightforward. If I had read them thoroughly, there would have been even fewer hiccups. And in terms of setting up endpoints where you can, route based on the request and the method, execute some arbitrary JavaScript, and even return like a little mock API there. Um, they seem really powerful and really helpful. Um, and you don't even need to use it on a domain. I mean, obviously you can, and actually that's the thing. Maybe I'll look into that next time. I didn't even look into how I would hook this onto one of my domains to manipulate requests. I was just thinking of it as a serverless framework for, running codes without having to manage a server myself. Um, but very straightforward to get up and running. And like the template there. Um, for handling different routes looks really helpful. Actually, it kind of looks like what you're able to do with, you can do something similar, although maybe not with this degree of control, with netlify functions. Um, so that's Cloudflare Workers. I need to look into them a little bit more and, uh, you know, what I can do with them on the website. But all in all, I'm pretty happy with getting those up and running in 44 minutes with very few hiccups. So definitely worth checking out. A very cool technology. Um, I mean, I like serverless. I like not being able to run code without having to worry about running servers. And especially for one-off projects and stuff. Oh my gosh, it just makes life so much easier. So thanks for tagging along. Liked having you here. I'll probably be back next week, maybe exploring the same thing, maybe exploring something different. But happy Friday and have a good weekend.